Fighting games. Odds are if you're watching this video, you enjoy them. And if you enjoy fighting games, you enjoy fighting game combos. A sequence of moves put together into an uninterruptible string which inflicts damage to the opponent, both in-game and on their psyche. However, in the world of Street Fighter V, there is one other aspect to inflicting damage that may be considered. Of course, I'm talking about stun. You see, the stun meter reflects how many hits you can take within a period of time before being left in a stun state, left defenseless momentarily, open for a full combo follow-up from the attacker. Now, generally, it takes several openings over quick succession in order to stun an opponent. It's not something you generally do in one opening with one combo. Or is it? You see, over the past week, what started off as sharing just one excruciatingly difficult combo on Twitter quickly turned into a collaborative effort between the most technical Street Fighter V combo creative mind and the most talented execution monster in the Street Fighter V community, and began the race for the stun combo. This unlikely story all began with me trying to do the hardest combo I possibly could with Oro. And I shared this on Twitter, and this combo's gone around a bit at this point. So if you've seen my content or been following the Twitter, you've seen this combo. And what makes this combo so difficult is the unique aspects that go into it. And I mean, it looks impressive as you can see here, but what really makes it so difficult is not even this sequence here with all the fancy loops at the end. It's the beginning portion. This sequence in the beginning has some of the most precise charging times and unique techniques for charge buffering in the game. You see, there's a special input that requires you to do a standing medium kick canceled into a charge move. For those uninitiated, this is very difficult. You have to very precisely time this one button in between the motion for another special, and in general, this is not how you normally execute moves canceled to special moves like this. And on top of that, the charging for each move is extremely tight. The moment you do one of these fireballs, you need to begin charging for the next one. So I can safely tell you that it took me about 3 to 4 hours of attempts just to land this beginning sequence before the V trigger one time. I landed that sequence maybe 2 or 3 times max, where I dropped the V trigger follow-up after. The fancy part at the end is actually the easy part. It took me hours to land the first part to even prove that it was possible to do. So after I landed the full sequence, put it all together after many hours of attempts, I shared that on Twitter to show off what I've done. And this kind of sparked all the Oro mains to start showing off what this character can do. And people started to optimize quick. Javits, if you don't know, he is one of the mastermind combo creators in the Street Fighter community. He's always squeezing out more optimal conversions, optimal punishes, and unique ways to optimize what characters are doing. So Javits caught wind of what I was doing, and of course he had to have a taste of the Oro action. And he teased us with this right here. Practicing for hours to master the hard part of a super long combo just to mess up on the easy part is one of the most frustrating feelings of learning hard combos, but it makes finally getting the combo all the sweeter. And he's teasing here the stats. You see here, the important thing that he's talking about here is that the stun for this combo, this stat right here, is approaching 900. So when I did my combo originally, I wasn't optimizing damage, stun, or anything. I was just trying to do a very hard combo. I could have done a much easier combo to do way more damage. That wasn't the point of the sequence. However, this is important for several reasons. You see, in Street Fighter V, characters have different stun values. You can see by this chart here, at 900, that is the lowest amount of stun where characters can actually be put into a stun state. Most characters have much higher stun values, the average being 1000, but 900 is the minimum, meaning if you can do a combo that hits 900 stun, you could potentially stun someone in one hit, which is not a standard thing that you see in Street Fighter at all. So 900 becomes the first target of an advanced combo creator when trying to do a very fancy combo. So using the combo that I had set up, they took this technique and ran wild and adding much more depth to it, and with a bit of lab work and a bit of collaborative effort with another fellow Aura main, Javits proves that it's possible. Well, 902 stun is possible with my new starter and no special stones, which means you can dizzy Seth, and he's tall, so you can probably get a few extra fireballs. Tristan Prophet, you have a new mission. Tristan Prophet is the execution monster for charge characters in the American FGC. He can do things with that hitbox that other fighting game players simply dream about. So Javits here shows that it is actually technically possible to hit the 900 stun value. So he's not showing the intro, but he's showing the variation of the loop, adding different reps and different finishers to show that the 900 is actually possible, hitting the 900 stun value after meticulously labbing out different sequences to hit that. Put it all together, and the combo looks a little something like this. Using the V-Skill starter, he's able to approach from full screen to add extra hits in the beginning, then use the advanced fireball loops into the V-Trigger activation to begin the loop, and slowly rack up more damage and more stun on our Seth dummy here, the 900 stun target. And we achieve the first stun combo with Oro. Now this combo, I need to clarify, will never happen in a real match. This requires full super meter, which you build up over time over the course of a round, full V-Trigger, which you also build up over the course of a round, and requires you to do this slow fireball move from full screen, have the opponent on the other side of the screen sit still, get hit for no reason, and allow this full combo to start up. So this is not a practical combo. You will never see this happen in a match. But to prove that it's theoretically possible is the challenge, and executing it is the fun. So we have our first target set and accomplished. The 900 stun combo has been set. But Javits actually used a little bit of trickery with this combo. He couldn't execute it in one sequence. He used a recording to splice together two separate parts of the combo. The intro with the fireball loops, because the fireball loops are just so difficult to perform, he actually had to record this one time, land this sequence, save the state so that he can piece together the part after later, because like I mentioned, it can take up to hours to land that first part of the combo because it is so difficult to do. That said, we move on to Prophet. Prophet picks up words of this combo, and he actually manages to perform the whole combo in one unedited sequence, showing that this is humanly possible to do in one sequence. So slowly we're starting to hit the realm of making these combos more and more feasible. Same ender here, and Seth is stunned. 900 stun on the table. Here's the full combo follow-up after, just because he can, because Prophet is a monster. We have hit the 900 stun benchmark, but that is just the beginning. Javits teases us with this comment. Almost at 950 stun with this new starter. I think 1000 might be possible as well. And here we have Oro just looking up at the stun value, 947. So once again, just to reiterate the benchmarks that we're looking for here, once you hit the 900 stun, 925 is next for only Cammy, but the next tier of character to stun a large portion of the cast would be 950. So once you hit 950, you open up yourself to stun a lot more characters. So obviously we want to hit that benchmark, but progress at this point is rather slow. The execution requirement to do these combos is so steep that getting any attempt to reach the end of the combo where you can actually vary the techniques and attacks you use is extremely difficult, because you have to land the fireball loop in the beginning of the combo, which might take an hour or so of attempts just to land one time. However, that is about to change very soon. In the midst of all this, all the Aura players who are attempting to recreate these combos were doing the same sort of technique. We were doing a technique where you quickly charge for the fireball, release the joystick or hitbox, do stand, medium, kick, and neutral, hit forward to do the fireball, then quickly go back to charge and hope you get frame perfect charging in order to have enough charge for the next fireball. This meant the execution was difficult to do it, but getting the charge in time was almost impossible, and that was the primary issue with this technique and why it took so many tries to get the fireball loops. Javits initially mentioned this to me in the beginning of this whole sequence. He thinks that doing jump cancel fireballs is actually easier. And I said, okay, sure, cool. I don't use that technique, but I don't really think too much of it. He mentions here that he does the jump cancel stand medium kicks because it maximizes charge time, but doing it is extremely hard, so it's like a pick your poison kind of thing. I did think about it. What I'm really struggling with is not inputting the stand medium kick, it's getting the charge. But you know, at that time, didn't think too much of it until I saw this from Prophet. Starting to get the hang of Javits' jump cancel medium kick tech makes standing medium kick EX fireball loops 1,000 times easier to do, just a weird motion to get used to. Before this tech, it was taking me 100+ attempts to land one normal loop, and look at the difference after incorporating the jump cancel tech. Once the loops start, they don't stop. To go from being able to land one standing medium kick to another standing medium kick to EX Fireball one time, to be able to do, what is this, like 20 in a row? This is another level of availability and accessibility with this combo. Suddenly, these loops are no longer something that are theoretical, contained to training mode and constrained to save states and hoping that you might land the combo to get a cool clip on Twitter. Suddenly, this becomes a feasible technique. Suddenly, the doors are blown open where people can constantly refine on this, apply it, and push the limits even further with this character. It's now humanly possible to do fireball loops. Now, to explain a little bit about the technicality with the difference in the input, I'll go ahead and break it down a tiny bit. I'm not going to go into too much detail to not lose half of you in the jargon, but here's the input for a normal standing medium kick to a fireball cancel. Here I'm charging back. I hit standing medium kick in neutral. You notice there's no direction. Then you hit forward and fireball with the 2 punches, and then you quickly go to holding back again and rinse and repeat. It's a very straightforward input, but the problem is you have to be extremely fast with hitting forward, going to back to build charge again, and you have to be extremely precise when you go for the cancel because you have such a small window to charge. It's almost frame perfect. Here, on the other hand, is the inputs for the jump cancel. If you know how to read inputs, this looks kind of weird. When you do the medium kick, which it's supposed to be a standing medium kick, you're actually holding up back when you do the medium kick, which seems weird. After you do the up back medium kick, you swoop around to forward and punch, doing this kind of half circle motion, and then you would go back to up back to hit medium kick again for the next medium kick. Here they are side by side. They look totally different, right? Completely different inputs. The magic of the jump cancel medium kick is that you're tricking the game into thinking you hit this medium kick while standing. There's a better way to explain that in more detail, but I'm not going to go into it. But the main thing to take away from this is that this technique is now feasible. It's weird to do, it's still kind of difficult, but it's feasible. And the Oro players began to believe. I mean, you can see in this exchange here, he tagged me in this. And at this time I mentioned, I wasn't really too concerned with the jump cancel tech, but after seeing Prophet have such success, I decided to try it out myself. And like I mentioned, it took me hours of tries to get this one time. And here I am able to do the loops. The race was on. So at this point, Javits starts quickly making progress. I mean, it's tweet after tweet after tweet. Here's 950 stun with Javits. Now using Dalsim as the dummy here. Similar starter using the full screen V skill, but each one of these combos has a slightly more optimal finisher in order to secure more stun. So this finisher, the loop is almost the same, slight variation. This one he squeezes in a jump fierce punch, 2 hits to the double DP finisher to secure the stun. 975 stun is up next. It seems like Javits is unstoppable at this point. He's already mentioned that he's trying to get to 1000 stun. 1000 stun is a special benchmark because it is the final barrier where you have the majority of the cast at. The average character has 1000 stun. So after getting to 988 stun right there, Javits knows that he is almost at the point to breaking the 1000 stun barrier, which will mean Oro has the ability to stun the majority of characters. Now, it'll require a lot more theory crafting, a lot more execution, and a lot more firepower to get that done. But that said, we know at this point that it might be possible. Here we have Javits teasing us once again with the 991 stun combo, and he knows that it's just around the corner. At this point, What started off as me simply sharing a difficult combo quickly turned into an Oro arms race on Twitter. Javits leading the charge here with the technical understanding of the game engine, understanding how to optimize, iterate, and constantly improve, and Tristan Profit with some of the most ridiculous execution known to man. In the background brewing in the Twitter DMs was a plan to land the 1000 stun combo, but they knew that this was going to push the limits of human execution. While after learning the jump cancel loops, the 900 stun barrier was blown wide open, the 1000 stun barrier proved to be more difficult than anyone could have foreseen. It took a man with the most ridiculous execution in order to pull this off. But finally, at long last, combining all the lessons learned and all the technical skill in the world, Tristan Profit posted this combo. The final ender after the stun just for show, just because he can, but the 1000 stun barrier had been broken. We thought that doing the normal V-trigger loops was difficult. What he is doing here in this combo is something that I did not think would be even possible. He is not only doing charge buffers, where he holds back charge, goes to standing medium kick before inputting forward and fireball, in order to not lose charge, not accidentally do back medium kick, not accidentally do forward medium kick, but precisely hit neutral medium kick before doing the fireball and building charge again. He is doing a micro walk forward, then standing medium kick, then fireball cancel. I literally did not think that this was possible in the engine, but it just shows that a man with the execution like Profit and the tools like a hitbox can push the limits of this engine to the furthest bounds that we did not even figure possible. He is mixing in these micro walks, standing medium kicks to fireballs all throughout this combo to ensure that he has the spacing to get close enough for this micro walk charge fierce punch finisher into the extra fireball loop, into the jab jab command grab finisher to build the maximum amount of stun. The number of micro walks in this combo, if you go and analyze the footage, will blow your mind. I don't think we'll ever see a combo like this ever done in a match ever. This ender to this combo is probably one of the most difficult combos possible in Street Fighter V, period. But it just goes to show that with the right people involved, the right motivation, and the discovery of some useful tech in order to push the limits of the game, that, you know, gamers, if they set their mind to something, they can achieve it. That's the race for the stun combo. It was a really great journey to see and showed that, you know, fighting games are just cool. What does this achieve? You know, not too much, to be honest, in terms of practical application for tournament Oro gameplay. There's a few new techniques that we all learned and gathered from it. Will we ever see a 1000 stun combo in tournament from Oro? No. But is it really awesome to see that it's possible? It definitely is. That's all for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to subscribe and support the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. And that is all for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.